So I'm going to make this a generic apology to those that I may have confused as sock accounts, those that I lashed out at because I actually thought you were somebody else, like Randy, people like that. I think when I finally figured out how to get into the channel and check out things, that somebody actually had taken control as a manager on the channel. Don't ask me how, don't know how. I don't know how to make those things work. But that's all gone. The monetization is gone. I unblocked a whole bunch of you, including you, Betty Boop. Because I think it's only fair that I give you another chance. Because here's the thing. I don't play by these rules. I don't play these games. I would never make Buddy Washam a moderator on my channel and then block her. Like you guys did. I would never do that and delete her comments through the live stream so she doesn't know what the other side of the story is. A lot of you got butthurt because I blocked people for coming to my channel and being jackasses when I come to your channel as me. So I got a bunch of gray-haired women who do nothing but sit in their house and uphold this train wreck. I got a scumbucket narc who wants to strangle me and exchange internet porn with a woman by the name of Jennifer Sweet, who is anything but. And I will keep telling Reb's sins to the world. Johnny Forbes. God, I'm even allergic to him now. So, people like Randy, the gem maker, my apologies. Sovereign, Spoof. Let's see. I'm trying to think of all the people that I got drugged into fighting with. Freddie. Let's see. There's quite a few of them. And I had hoped that individually we had come to terms. And that hopefully, through your own investigations, in your own watching my videos, you've come to a decision on who came here with honest motives and who's been playing people the whole time. It's the women mostly that play the dirty games. Men, unfortunately, have to play in the same arena, so sometimes they have to use the same rule book. But I guarantee you the men don't like it as much as the women, unless they're bitches. But no, it's the females. There's no middle ground. I got good women that have my back, and I have them. And over the years, they know I don't break confidences. If I have to get a message across to them or about them, I do it in a way that they understand what I'm saying, but you don't have a clue. But not old Johnny or Buddy Washam. Buddy Washam sets up other women. She's got a blue notebook with all of your information. Calls me a prostitute. I've been with a domestic partner for 26 years now. Granted, there were times of separation. Still faithful, though. I would just send women like Betty to go make me money. And when I told you, Revel, that I walked over a better class of men in my stilettos, I meant it. I got nothing in my life that I haven't accounted for, unlike you and her. You make other people pay. So let's see, Daywalker. What's it like to have your heart crushed by a predator and to mock a domestic violence survivor? How about you, Dave T? How does it feel to know you stood up for a cyber hoe while mocking me? How's that feel? Guys, how does that feel to know you uphold a skank who will take you to the cleaners, emotionally extort you, tell you everything you want to hear until she gets the credit card? And then after that, she tosses you aside like the used condom she uses. Do you really think a computer guy from, where was it, Argentina, is going to hang around after checking her out for more than 48 hours? She's the freak that I would send on the freak calls. So when I tell you it's Madam, well, at one time it was. That's how I know you. That's how I know what you do. I've taken more girls away from dirtbag pimps like you, Revy. And then one day, at a weekly business meeting, I looked around the table at my girls and my bodyguards, and I thought, it doesn't matter if they're putting themselves through law school, medical school, veterinarian school, psychology, any of it. It didn't matter, because it can never go away. So although I was the manager, I woke up one day and I said, if I don't get out of this and here I'm gonna die. And I wasn't worried about physical death. I was worried about my soul. You see, because men like you, the residue lingers, the damage lingers, even after you can finally get away. And here's the bizarre part about the whole situation for you cult of crazies. First you get hit, then you hit back, and then there comes a time in your life where you start to hit first. And that's a very confusing situation to be in, because suddenly you're not the victim anymore. You're the victimizer. That's what you people are. So while I walked away from all of the bling and all of it, I gave the practice, the agency over to another girl, another woman, and I walked away with what I had. I paid off all my debts. I gave away the whole lifestyle. I burnt the briefcase, but I buried the little black book. It's still buried in Oregon, somewhere. And those 3 years of my life probably did more damage condensed than the 14 years I was married to a dirtbag. Although he was much prettier than you, much more talented, had more talent in one little finger than you have in your whole scumbag, greasy body. Made all the girls go, hmm. You have no idea who you're messing with. So when I tell you I go out to the shed every once in a while and I look at my little suitcase to remind me where I came from, I knew pretty much every night shift desk clerk at every 5-star hotel in the tri-state area. You have to narc off street-level dope fiends. Sad. Sad. When I told you that Heidi and I used to compare notes, I wasn't joking. I'm not proud of my background, but you calling me a prostitute is about as far off the spectrum as you can get. And I would never do to a man what that witch does. Ever. I would never play with their emotions or their hearts. I never had to play with various body parts either. They just liked me to beat them. And I had a whole lot of years of frustration to take out in my little whip in my big stilettos. That's why I tell you, 5 minutes in a room and you'd be on your knees. Oh no, Johnny. You'll never have the opportunity to backhand me, to strangle me, or to knock me to the ground. But I still may have the opportunity to watch you walk in orange and jelly sandals. 2 decades of repairing my life, giving back to women, to help them get away from the life, get away from the drugs, get away from the abuse. And you don't like that, Johnny, do you? Just pisses you off. You're a coward. And you went after a 5-foot woman who survived dirtbags like you. My whole agenda was to show women how to take their power back in a healthy manner. And your whole agenda was to violate innocence. And her whole agenda is to get as much out of men because she hates them as she can. But you can't have people like me pulling your covers, or the rest of them that do. And I'm hoping, even if I can't do anything, that the men in the forum will start looking around you. Those that think you innocent. I won't break the confidence of the men that are in your room on your channel right now, telling me and have told me that they found you on their daughters' channels, Johnny. But because you're a musician, you get a pass. Because you're the grieving father of 4 children, you get a pass. You lied about me, Johnny. You manipulated a woman who is nothing like me, who only dealt with people like you from on the other side of the bars. She clinically analyzed people like you. And you tried to say, this is the sickest part, that she went all Hannibal Lecter on you? My God, you are a piece of crap. She tried to get to know you better so she could try to understand and maybe get an insight into why you're stuck being a dirtbag. And that maybe, just maybe, she might have some insights for you to help you make progress. But Johnny, the teeny bopper groomer, doesn't want to make progress. He wants to go back to 1999, where he can lay there with the pistol between his legs. Because that's what he really means, folks. That's what he's telling you. That when he could use it, it was a weapon. It wasn't something to... Oh, I don't even want to say it because it makes me want to puke. Let's just say it wasn't something to recreate life out of a union between 2 people. Oh no. It's a weapon. Right, Johnny? You're trying to figure out, you're trying to get the bloodline, right? That's what you said. I'm going to find the bloodline. And when I heard that, I was like, that was kind of weird. Why'd he say that? And then in the middle of the grocery store, a light bulb went off. Forbes, is it? The scary thing for you about me is I do know you. I may not know the details of your life, but I can just put you in a lineup. Same kind of dude, same kind of arrested development, same kind of perversions, same kind of dirty, scummy, sleazy man at the neighborhood pool watching all the little girls go by. Come here, little girl, you want some candy? You like music? And for those of you out there who have a problem with the idea of women using their teenage daughters to live out their glory days once again, grow up. Grow up. Because they haven't. So, much as you hate my guts, Johnny. Actually, it's a compliment. I have no other mission than to make sure that somebody with a badge who doesn't give you a pass takes a look at your behavior online, and that they have a sit down with you on why you have an obsession with young girls. You love Betty as much as you love every other woman. Secretly, you dislike her. But you think you can fix her. That's your first problem. You think you could make her into something you can profit off of. That's your second problem. You think that if you could just get people to see things your way, they would figure it out. Well, that's your other problem, because only dirtbag drug addicts want to figure you out. So, you have women who sit in their house all day with a vendetta against women like me. I don't know. Maybe because they can't put the Cheetos down. I don't know. Maybe because at 56 years old, I still have the same measurements I did in my 30s. I don't know. It was never about that. But that's all some of you care about, is the empty wrapping, the cut and paste bullshit, and the scam. I've been on here 6 years, and it wasn't until I started talking about the election and I started zeroing in on other YouTubers did all this stuff start. It took me a long time to get the subscribers I got. I've already had 2 channels taken down by dirtbags like you, and it was never for bullying, because I don't bully people. I ask questions. You, on the other hand, are so spineless that you went through all of my videos and falsely reported me. While you do whatever you want. So that tells me you've sold your soul. You are them. And anybody that watches you is basically having their data gathered. You're somebody's bitch. You're somebody's hoe from a 3-letter agency. Well, like I said, I'd rather live in my, what'd you call it, my messy backyard, in my little box, than to ever have to live in my parents' house and disrespect them like that. You mocked a woman who lost her child through violence while exploiting yours. You didn't care you embarrassed your daughter. You don't care what having a slimy dad like you does to them. No, you turn them into you. That way you could have playmates. So if you are an actor, you honestly deserve an Emmy. But I just think this is how you are. And that picture of you laying in that pot-bellied centerfold with your gun between your legs should tell everybody exactly how you feel about women, really. You have the balls, although very small, to call me a groupie. Nah. I actually was there. I saw thirsty men like you wait on the sidelines for the fucked up groupies so you could have sloppy seconds. I didn't go on the road after that trip because although my husband was a dirtbag in the regards of being violent and bipolar, being a real product of paperclip, you, on the other hand, are a wannabe. And he never, ever would disrespect a woman the way you have. His problem was he didn't want anybody else to look at me, to see me, to look at me the way he watched women everywhere he played behave and be treated. So as much as he was fucked up, he was a saint compared to you. That's big for me to say. And here's another thing. I was trying to teach women that no matter what, they do have a part in domestic violence. Most of the time. Not all, but most. Because relationship skills are not taught today. They get the relationship skills from television, music videos, and all the rest. So I was his little untouchable on a pedestal. And when I couldn't live up to it, well, that just broke his heart. And among a whole lot of other things that happened in the industry that you're not part of, that cost us both dearly. Many unanswered questions. And the hell he went through after I left, I wouldn't wish on anybody. But see, this is the thing, Johnny boy. How manipulative and how cagey, how coyote smart he was. When he did go to prison, he married the prison shrink, who had 7 children, who he convinced it was all me, till she got the photographs and the police reports. By then it was too late. They were married. And he had all of her secrets, all the things she did for him while he was in a federal penitentiary. And during the time I didn't know he had died, nor his father had died, I repeatedly told you people, do not put my life in risk. Do not dox me, because I don't know if my abuser's alive. And yet, that was your main goal. To destroy me. You and your witch. That should have told people a whole lot. Then I found out they're both dead. So I said I don't have too much to worry about, except the fact that the rest of the family are married into the Escobar family. But you're such a badass. Yours and my beef is what you did to Doc Lori and me and other women. Betty and I have a beef because of what she claims on the internet and the way she treats other people, and the fact that she's basically promoting prostitution through her website while being an advocate for broken women. In my eyes, you two are people who are looking for broken people to take advantage of. And your own actions have proved it. So, while I moved everybody over to the original channel again, and I may lose it, I started other ones. I'm on other platforms. I'm completely demonetized. There is no AdSense connected to this account or any others. I can't touch the one that has the 1,000 subscribers because it is locked down right now. But as soon as it is, you two and I are going to work it out. You monetize me, you dirtbag. And isn't it funny how, as soon as you got my live stream taken down, she bought enough subscriptions so she could go live and be monetized? I want to know how much of that money is going to go to survivors and victims, because not a dime has so far. But I can account for every penny. You taught me a lot, Revel. Now it's my turn. You are going to learn. You're going to learn that you are not as untouchable as you think you are. And the God you serve is Satan. So when he touches you and calms you down, does it leave a mark? Huh? What's it like, Johnny, to know that most people on YouTube see you as a sexual predator of young women? What's that feel like, Johnny? To know that you put people in prison, not because you're a hero, but because really you got tired of keeping your mouth shut and taking the rap for people who didn't give a fuck about you. How does it feel to know your daughters? Yeah, I said it. Are gonna be just like their daddy. And your son is more than likely going to grow up to be an abuser like you. You brought your kids into this, not me. You violate and slime other people's children with your lechery. You're a lech. But that's the problem with alleged psychopaths. They don't have consciences. They don't feel bad about what they do. They don't care. And the only time you bring up your dearly departed is when it suits you. That's all. It's a way to deflect attention. Like I asked you, when were you missing her so much? While you're visiting young girls' channels from places they don't speak English? Or when you're using chemicals so you can jump up and down and play your guitar because, you know, people who deal with chronic pain understand that when you take pain medicine, Johnny, it's not that you're not in pain or your leg's not broken, you just don't give a fuck. Or is it when you're stumping for the Democratic Party? Because honestly, I get the same letters you do. So does anybody that has ever signed up to the RMP. I still get the DNC emails. Trump would never talk to you. You are what he's trying to clean up. You know it. I know it. You can't stand Trump. That's why you tattooed MAGA on your fist. Because, really, that's what you want a conservative to see before you knock them out. And like I try to tell people, MAGA is a magician. Magi or Magi are a collective of magicians. You are a sorcerer. You know it. I know it. Ooh, I bet your bitch Lilith is a little perturbed with you. What is it about Lilith that she said? Instead of going back to that wimp of a man, Adam, I'll agree to allow 100 of my children to be slaughtered every day. That's your dream woman, right? Nah, well, figures. Figures. So, you have no problem sliming and spiritually slaughtering 100 of God's children every day. And then you crawl back to your mistress and you kiss her feet. And all the while you're thinking, I wish I could get away from this bitch, but she owns my ass. This is your Dear John letter. YouTube will find a better mate. they will find out what a dirtbag cheater you are, and they'll kick you to the curb. Eventually, your behavior will be too much for even the FANG unit to ignore. That's another thing. If people think that your ass isn't bought and you are not doing this as a snitch to get people entrapped, they better wake up, because when I talked to FANG, they didn't ask me who you were. Their question to me was, what is he doing on YouTube? Sorry, I said, that's your job. You need to rein in your boy, because he's saying that you, the detectives, are allowing him to do whatever he wants, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And I also said, Mr. Nice Detective, that Johnny Forbes has repeatedly told people, basically, you work for him, not the other way around. He calls, you jump. Yeah, see, the only time he ever had anything respectful to say about the FANG unit, when we was talking about the detective that comes to his apartment all the time and towers over him and says, we wish we had more little sniveling rats like you. I'm paraphrasing, but we need more dirtbag snitches to build cases on. And then if you read the articles about the FANG unit, well, they're not even part of the narcotics squad anymore for Michigan. They were literally disenfranchised, I guess, because of all the corruption. So nobody's impressed with somebody who claims to be a vigilante narc working with crooked cops. Oh, here's another thing I said. He said to me, I said, he's threatening me. He's threatening my life, basically. And I said, he's under the impression that, you know, I'm some crazy cat woman living in the desert, when he doesn't understand, really. My significant other is a retired police officer, Marine, Green Beret. You know what the detective said to me, Johnny? Ma'am, he's an idiot. There's nothing he can do to you. I guarantee you're in no danger. I said, well, apparently, detective, that part's not left up to you. And I am not waiting until something happens. So just a heads up. Your boy is threatening women on YouTube. He's threatening to disclose the name and addresses and phone numbers of survivors of domestic violence. He's speaking to special needs girls who have an infatuation with him. And he's exchanging rape porn with another very disturbed woman on YouTube, with children in the house. So it doesn't look real good, detective. At all, that you are actually associated with a potential predator. You don't have a problem with that, as long as he gives up the goods, right? Dead silence, Johnny. He thought about it for a minute. And then he said, "We'll be looking into this. Thank you for the information." And that's when you started losing your shit. That's when you really got upset. And that's when you turned vicious. Or more vicious. So, although you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting something magical to happen differently, I work every day to change how I do things, to try not to make the same mistakes, and to never let another dirtbag hit me, or to be triggered into hitting first. And I certainly hope that your so-called friends take a good look at you and ask themselves, do I even want to be known to have associated with a guy who trolls young girls' channels, talks about putting his hands up the honey skirts, exploits his own children, takes money from women under false pretenses, and then when his ass is exposed, he turns around and calls fraud. Says, I don't have an idea, a clue as to what you're talking about. You're such a Trump supporter that you had to have another woman. Well, you didn't have to. She gave it to you as a gift. Donate to Trump in your name. You talked to Donald Trump Jr. He probably threw you a hat. I had a conversation with Kimberly, and they called me the next day. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do everything I can to notify the Trump campaign that people like you are exploiting and manipulating and actually working as a conspirator, an infiltrator for the DNC. But I'm crazy, so pay me no mind, Johnny. Pay me no mind as I strategically, systematically, and wholeheartedly go about legally bringing you to the authorities. Not your musical chairs of drug dealing authorities, but authorities that want to look at people like you. You are not a Trump supporter. You're not a Republican. You're not a conservative. You're not even a libertarian. You're a socialist. You can dish it, little man, but you can't take it. And you prove to the world that any female that stands up to you brings out your caveman. So keep telling people how much you want to strangle me, choke me, backhand me, and beat me to the ground. Keep telling people what a victim your witch is when she's the abuser. I was gonna let this stuff go, but not after yesterday. And if it's the last thing I do, like I said, the both of you will have to account for each one. Lies, if they're lies. Scams. False charges and reporting. And the Dark Witch is going to have to explain the claim she made, the lies, the stalking, the predatory, cyberbullying, and the blatant misrepresentation of rape, child abuse, and domestic violence survivors. You people are not going to get away with this. And one way or another, I am going to show that you are a bunch of piranhas. You're like coyotes. You bite and you bite. And then you just wait until your victim bleeds out. That's what you want. It's to people who question you to go away. You started this, Johnny. I'm gonna finish it. That goes for you too, Betty. You had your chance. I don't know if you listen to me, or if the both of you just believe what your little lapdogs tell you. But I have been the same kind of person since day one. You people, on the other hand, keep trying to reinvent yourself. That's what frauds do. I'm just me. I might not be much in stature or in size, but I am somebody you should have never fucked with, because I worked too hard, too long, sacrificed too much, lost almost everything, and pulled myself up by myself to have little piss ants like you think you can take me out by trying to scare me or slander me. It's not going to happen. You may be the very subject of my new documentary. Toodles. Sleep well.